This is On Your Mark World, and welcome to New York City. Right now, we're at the World Trade Center area, and behind me, I believe, is the entrance to the Path Shops. This is also another entrance down into the mall area. Over here is the new Freedom Tower, the tallest building in New York. It's 1776 feet high, based on the year that America became independent. I'm going to walk you through this area and show you some of the sights around here and all around New York. Okay, now we're in the Westfield Mall. From here you can connect to the subway, restaurants, the memorial, shops, dining, many things around this area. And you can see it by the big accented arches coming out. Okay, so right behind me is the 9/11 Memorial. I won't be able to show you that today because it opens at 10 o'clock. I'm leaving here at 8, so I'm sorry for that. Next time I come back to New York. Behind me is the Freedom Tower. Looks like there's like other exhibitions and things to see here. You can see a lot of the important monuments here in downtown New York. Near here we're going to go to Battery Park. We're going to see some of the more important places around downtown. This is the North Pool, where the northern tower stood from the World Trade Center. And the southern tower is a little further this way. And here we have the South Pool. This here is the entrance to One World Tower. Up here you can see the tallest view in New York. Unfortunately I can't go there now because it's closed before I got here. But definitely something I'm going to come back and see in the future. It can be called One World Tower or the Freedom Tower. Being here makes me think back about my first time in New York. I had the choice to come here and see the World Trade Center when it stood the same way since the 1970s until 2001. And we already just saw the Empire State Building. We already went to a lot of other interesting towers and places. So I looked across the street and I thought, hey, I'll see you next time. But there's no next time. So when you get the chance, try and take advantage of every opportunity when you can, because you don't know when it will happen again. Okay, so unfortunately at night, a lot of things here are closed off, so I can't show you all around the site here. And now we're going to go to Battery Park, where you can overlook the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. There's actually really nice ferries that you can take to go all around Manhattan and show you a lot of the most important monuments and tell you about the history of New York and a lot of the important things around it. It's nice to see that New York put some designated bike paths in. I always wondered what was in this building. Now I know it's a big mall, and we're walking through here to get to Battery Park, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so once you leave the Brookfield Mall, walk south along the waterline with these yachts. We're gonna make it out to Battery Park. We just left the Brookfield Mall, walk down this way. And out this way you can see the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, and Jersey City. So behind me here is Jersey City. This isn't actually New York, this is New Jersey. But it's very close. People from New Jersey come into New York all the time for work, visiting, and things like that. Okay, so while we're walking, I want to tell you some history about New York. So New York originally was established by the Dutch, I believe in 1624. And 20 years later, the British came by and decided they wanted paper for themselves. And the Dutch agreed and signed it over. There was no fight or anything. 9 years after that, the Dutch decided to come back, try and claim New York again with 21 ships came triumphing in, and they called it New Orange. So before New York was the Big Apple, it was the Big Orange. But that was only for 1 year, and later they decided to sign an agreement over to England again, in which case it became New York, named after the Duke of York. Once again, it became the great city we know today. So this is Battery Park. It's going to stretch further down this way and further south for a few blocks. It's okay for bicycles, rollerblading. Couples like to sit here and stroll and relax. It's a really nice, beautiful park right here downtown. And downtown didn't used to be known as a nice place to come and relax and live. This is more of a business area. It's a financial district. But I heard in the last few years, recently, they've been redeveloping to include more restaurants, more housing, more condos, more livability downtown, so people don't have to keep traveling from uptown, downtown, all over the place to get to work here. So now this is actually a destination to live as well in the financial district. So when you're here in New York, Battery Park is definitely a beautiful place to come here, relax, enjoy, stroll. You can see the Statue of Liberty from here, you can see Ellis Island, you can relax, you can go shopping. There's so many things to do in this area. I recommend to come here, Battery Park, downtown, in New York City. Right now, we're here in Greenwich Village. This is Washington Square Park. You can see the beautiful arc behind me here. Washington Square Arc, and the fountain in front of it. Around here in Greenwich Village, it's known as a really nice artsy town. A lot of alternative things you can see around here. Really nice restaurants, really nice food. It's also a college area. So you can see a lot of students around. There'll be a lot of good bars, a lot of good places to come check out here. I didn't know it, but this is a huge nightlife area as well. It's a lot more walkable, a lot calmer, less busy than other parts of the city. I just got here through 4th Street. 4th Street has a few lines that connect to it. I took the express from the World Trade Center and got straight here. You see the World Trade Center is not too far away. It's down there behind me, right over here. And I'm going to walk you around Greenwich Village here for a little bit and show you more of the area. Okay, so behind me is Performing Arts Center, Helen and Martin Kimmel Center for the University of Life. And back this way is New York University. So that's the main university that makes this a college area. I believe there's going to be other institutes and things around here as well that spread up around the area. And this is back into Washington Square Park. Just like some other cities around the States and around the world, New York has implemented the bike rental program, it looks like. Each city has their own way of doing this. Sometimes you go ahead and put some coins in, ride the bike around as long as you need to, put it back in one of these stations and you get your coins back, or sometimes you have to deposit your credit card and then when you return it, it'll either return your money or just deduct a small fee. So there's different ways of doing that. I'm not sure what the New York policy is, but I'm glad that they actually do have a system like this to help you get around the city easier. And the subways run 24/7 and there are plenty of taxis to take around New York. The main street around here is Bleecker Street. That is one of the most well-known streets. It's also mentioned in the movie Gangs of New York, which shows how New York used to be during the 1800s. It's a very interesting movie, and you can see the 5 points and a lot of what life was like back then. New York is a completely different place today, as you can see. Okay, now we're right here in the New York subway. It's not as clean and nice and neat as the Korea subway is, or most I've seen in Europe, but it is very efficient, it's organized, it'll get you around the entire city, day and night. A big issue in Korea is the subway shuts down at 12. A little before or after sometimes. Hey guys.
Oh, you vlogging?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I'm from Korea actually.
Okay. Welcome to New York.
Thanks, man. So, New Yorkers are very welcoming, very cool people. I just got here to Broadway, 42nd Street from the subway. And welcome to Times Square. Okay, so behind me in the distance, you can see the Chrysler Building. And closer up here, you can see Madame Tussauds. Madame Tussauds is a really cool wax museum. They actually have a few branches around the world to see, and the one here in New York is very, very impressive. And the Chrysler Building was the tallest building in the world. It had a competition between a few other buildings like the Empire State Building and the Bank of Manhattan.
Chrysler's claim to the world's tallest building was short-lived. In less than a year, the Empire State Building would wrestle the title away at 1,250 feet.
So now we're going around Times Square. And in case you're wondering, this is 3:51 in the morning and it's still alive and happening. But luckily I'm awake because it's still daytime in Korea. And now I don't need the light on my screen because here in Times Square they actually have a minimum light requirement, which means if you have an advertisement here in Times Square, you have to make sure it's a certain amount of wattage or brightness for your advertisement. So when you hear, a lot of times you can't tell if it's daytime or nighttime. It's so bright all the time, day and night. If you're like at a high rise further away and you're looking in, there's like one big bright spot at night in this Times Square. So when you're here, you're going to see tons and tons of new shows and theaters you can go to, a lot of amazing restaurants, a lot of amazing nightlife, a lot of cool things to see around here. There's gonna be like comedy shows. There's strange people to meet you. I just met a few on the way here. A lot of cool shops, a lot of bigger ones, like a lot of bigger ones that you're usually gonna see in a lot of places. Nice big car block behind me too. Oh, over here is Bubblegum Shrimp Factory from the movie Forrest Gump. Really cool place to go to. And in the middle of the street, you should be able to get some tickets, some discount tickets to some of the places around here. So I stayed in New York many times before, and I was lucky enough to see a lot of different plays. I saw Annie Gets Your Gun, 30 Modern Millie, The Graduate. I saw some other ones that weren't on Broadway. Rent, Lion King, Wicked. Some of those came actually to my town in Florida. But when you're in New York, definitely come and check out a play. Definitely worth it. Okay, so the ticket booth is down this way. And it's also between here and here is the main center of Times Square. If you continue down this way and turn right, so you're gonna get to Rockefeller Plaza. I'm gonna try and show you that as well. Another thing I heard they did down Broadway is they tried to make a pedestrian street, which would continue all the way down here for a long ways through the city. Wow, it's seriously bright here. And I can see that the pedestrian road is continuing all the way down here, so I'm gonna try and show you. And it's really eerie to see that, like, when it snows really bad in New York. This whole area, no matter how busy it is, this is like 4 in the morning and it's super busy. The only time it's ever dead is when it snows so bad that no one can make it here. Like, I saw a picture of like one lonely skier in the middle of all of this. It's really bizarre to see that. And I'm surprised it's actually pretty quiet for such a major area. Not completely, but way more than I thought. Like when I was in Vietnam, it was a lot noisier than I thought. In parts of Korea. Also, if you happen to be driving in this area, be careful. A lot of the streets around here are one-way streets. So you have to follow the signs, be really careful, because you could end up going into traffic. Okay, so I just talked to a few New Yorkers who were hanging around here on the side, and they told me that they love New York. It's the greatest city in the world. They wouldn't want to live anywhere else, but it's incredibly expensive. If you want to live outside New York and rent, like somewhere on Long Island, maybe like Queens or Brooklyn, it could be around $3,000 a month to live out there. If you want to live in Manhattan, it could be around $5,000 a month, just for like a little 1-bedroom. And that's just for rent. So it's incredibly expensive. It's an amazing city to be in, but be prepared. If you want to live in New York, you have to have a lot of money. A lot of people who are in this area are just working here, or they come in just, you know, for the night to have fun with their friends. Luckily, it's a 24-hour subway, so you can easily go in and out. But it's a very expensive city to live in. And so is San Francisco, which I just showed you before. Apparently, if you make $117,000 a year, you're still considered low income in San Francisco. So New York must be pretty similar to that. Okay, now we're right here in front of Radio City Music Hall. A lot of good performances here, like the Rockets. And over here is NBC Studio. So whenever you watch NBC programs, a lot of them are here. NBC Studios in the Rainbow Room. Observation deck up top. A lot of other big major programs are broadcast around this area. You'll see stuff like The Daily Show, Regis and Kelly, I saw here once before, although I think the show is Kelly and someone else now. Oh, Jimmy Fallon is right over there across the street. His show. A lot of events and parades and stuff go through this area. Like, this is a really major area here in New York and big media center. A lot of my favorite shows and TV channels were here when I was younger. Like, I ended up being able to see MTV. When I was first here, I got to see where they shoot a lot of my favorite shows. And around here is Rockefeller Center. In the big plaza is where you can do the ice skating. And this is where they have a huge Christmas tree. I think it might be the biggest Christmas tree in the world. I'm not sure how they find it, but it's enormous. And it's a really cool area to come here and check out. And this area is actually Midtown. So Midtown is also a huge other, basically like city in a city in New York. So you have downtown, which is a big area, and Midtown, which is a big area, and a lot of other really unique, interesting neighborhoods in between. So everywhere in New York has its own different unique areas and neighborhoods. Yes, so this is the Rockefeller Center right here. And if you go down here, down these steps, you can see where the ice skating rink is. It's summer right now and it's incredibly hot. I'm dying. New York has some of the hottest summers in the world. The concrete here, the concrete jungle, locks in a lot of the heat, which restricts the airflow, making it even hotter. A lot of the buildings here are pumping air into the street, hot air in the street from their ACs, which makes it even hotter. and the lights from the buildings reflecting down onto the street also make it hotter. So basically, New York City is one of the hottest places to be in. My grandfather grew up in the Bronx, and he says you can easily fry an egg on the street. That's how hot it is. Okay, now let me show you the lower area where you can do the ice skating at Rockefeller Center. So this right now is basically for an event, but during the winter it's an ice skating rink, and families can come here, people can hang out and go ice skating together. Really fun place to come to. The ice skating rink's right here, Rockefeller building is right here. And if we continue down this way and turn left, we'll be back at Times Square. Right now I'm going to continue on to 5th Avenue and I'll show you some of the ritzy stores down here. Now the thing about the stores on 5th Avenue is the prices for these things are usually beyond ridiculous. And it's like that for a reason. It's basically here to showcase things from the companies that are on the street. So like if you see the H&M over there, I'm sure they have some affordable things there for you as well. But there are going to be a lot more expensive things than most people would ever buy. And the reason is so they basically can advertise themselves on 5th Avenue. So to be on here is kind of like being up on the billboards in Times Square, where you see your name is known everywhere. So this is a very important place for a lot of big companies to have their shops down the street. Whether you buy things or not, you see that they're here, you see that they're successful, and you see that they are a strong brand. So that's why so many of them are down the street, even though people might not pay for the expensive prices what they have here. They might just find what they like and go back home and try to buy things there and be inspired that they are here. To get to most places I showed you around New York, I took the E train, which took me directly downtown to the World Trade Center. From there I took it up to Greenwich Village and Washington Park. From there I took it up to 42nd Avenue and I walked around Times Square, and now I'm going to actually take it back to the airport. To find my way there was kind of tricky. I'll show you the directions I took to get there from JFK Airport, which is the airport I flew into. I'm going to fly out of right now back to Florida, and basically you have to follow the signs. Yeah, go upstairs so you get to like the top plaza. You can see over the hangar there at the airport. From there you continue down an entryway that'll tell you how to get to the trains. Now once you get there, the trains are not the subway. You have to continue further until you get to the subway area. Once you get to the subway area, you go all the way downstairs. I got myself a subway card. A New York subway card looks like this. And this allowed me to get from the airport to the subway station, from the subway station into the city. Now I'm actually going to take that way back. So when you come to New York, good luck, and definitely come for a minimum a week or two, but try and spend as much time as you can here because there's so much to see, so much to enjoy, and so much to experience here in this incredible city, New York City. It's definitely one of the greatest cities in the world. Now what to say about it in New York. I love the city so much, and I hope to be back again soon. This is On Your Mark World. If you like this video, please like, comment, share, and consider subscribing.